even after 3 nerfs, Shiv is still one of the most powerful characters in Deadlock. He's a lethal assassin and burst damage hero who excels in 1v1 duels or a split pusher. Shiv's playstyle revolves around gradually wearing down enemies before delivering a killing blow, or leveraging his incredible burst damage potential, making him highly adaptable and highly useful. Welcome to the ultimate guide about Shiv and Deadlock, and do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you're new, or if you're coming back on the regular and you aren't already, and well, like the video if you like it. But anyways, let's get started. A master of surprise and timing, Shiv excels at isolating and eliminating key targets, especially in 1v1 encounters, where his burst damage is devastating. His ability to swiftly navigate the map and apply lane pressure as a split pusher further enhances his strategic value. By managing his rage effectively, he can deliver unexpected attacks, finishing off opponents before they even realize what hit him. That's a pretty good introduction of Shiv. Now let's get onto his abilities. Shiv's first ability, titled Serrated Knives, allows him to hurl a knife forward, inflicting damage and slowing the first enemy it strikes. The target also gains a bleed stack, dealing damage over time. If hit by multiple knives, the bleed effect stacks, and the debuff duration, which is the slow, also refreshes. At full rage, the knives will bounce to a nearby enemy, applying the same effects to both targets. Upgrades to the Serrated Knives provide an extra charge, extend the debuff duration, and increase both the damage and bleed effects. As well as most builds on the market right now are either going to be telling you to prioritize upgrading your first ability or your second ability to the max level right away. Shiv's second ability, titled Slice and Dice, enables him to dash forward a short distance, damaging all enemies he crosses. At full rage, the ability triggers an echo, repeating the damage along the same path. Upgrading Slice and Dice reduces its cooldown, boosts its damage, and provides a cooldown refund depending on how many enemy heroes are hit. In layman's term, more enemies means more refresh. Shiv's third ability, which I honestly think has to be one of the most strongest abilities in the entirety of Deadlock, but you could also argue for other abilities, this is just my opinion. His third ability is titled Bloodletting. It transforms a portion of the damage he receives into damage over time effect that affects him. This ability enables him to heal for a percentage of the damage taken over time, which is literally insane. Basically, you're becoming unkillable. Upgrades to the Bloodletting lengthen the duration of the damage over time effect, lower its cooldown, and enhance the percentage of damage he can heal and negate. Ever wondered why you can't kill Shiv? Well, it's because of that. The best options are to buy items that will do dot damage. Things like Toxic Bullets, Heal Bane, or anything like that are great picks to try and counter him. Shiv's fourth and ultimate ability is titled Killing Blow. Now, not only is Killing Blow a active ultimate ability, it also adds extra effects to his standard abilities, but its active effects allow him to execute heroes within 20% health or less at close range. Upgrades to the Killing Blow enhance Shiv's movement speed, increase the execution threshold, and resets the ability when he successfully takes down a target. So an execution ability that when fully upgraded, you can just spam it over and over. Now upon unlocking Shiv's ultimate, he also gains a passive effect titled Rage, and to acquire said rage, as you're dealing damage to enemies, it grants him a small amount of rage. Just like other things, you get more rage from hitting enemy players than you do from minions or camps. Did you subscribe yet? At full rage, Shiv experienced a substantial increase in damage and additional effects on his basic abilities. However, if he doesn't deal damage for a brief period, his rage meter will slowly deplete, but all you have to do to get it back is deal damage again. Pretty straightforward. There's a lot of Shiv guides on the market, but I haven't seen any really talk about the combos that you need to do. Yes, you can just do damage by throwing your knives, shooting your weapon, rolling your face across the keyboard, but there's a couple combos if you're wanting to play Shiv the right way. The first combo surrounds Serrated Daggers. First, you use the Serrated Daggers to apply pressure and slow the enemy, as they have that movement debuff and are slowly bleeding out. You want to quickly follow up the Serrated attack with Slice and Dice for a quick burst of damage and to close the distance. From there, finally use your ultimate to execute the Killing Blow. It's a pretty straightforward combo that pretty much every Shiv player should know, or if you're not playing Shiv, this is something you should look out for. The second combo opens with his ultimate, enabling him to take out a target, then employs Serrated Daggers and Slice and Dice to slow and pursue the enemy. This combo is especially effective for catching opponents off guard, particularly around corners. Use your ultimate to close the distance, then follow up with Serrated Daggers and Slice and Dice to complete the takedown. Although his ultimate ability is an execute, just like Vindicta, it seems like a lot of players, or more specifically, a lot of new players, only save execute ultimate ability when the target is finally low. This goes specifically for Shiv and Vindicta players, but your ultimate ability does damage besides just executing. Take for example Vindicta, if you snipe someone that's above the 50% HP threshold, you can still use your ultimate on. Hopefully you landing that ultimate shot will put him to that 50% threshold so you can get a quick second shot off and get the execute. A lot of people save their ultimate abilities to get the guaranteed kill, but ultimates are also super useful for opening up fights, so there's nothing wrong with popping your ultimate early. But anyways, let's talk about what we want to prioritize building when it comes to Shiv. Now there's a lot of builds under the browse build category for Shiv, but what you mainly want to prioritize is a spirit focused build, as he can easily rack up kills at full rate using all of his abilities. The starting item of Ammo Scavenger, even though it recently got nerfed, is still a great early game buy, as you have a shotgun in lane. It'll pretty much be impossible for you not to hit these soul orbs, especially when you have that shotgun. Now another great early game buy is Extra Charge. It will give you an extra dagger so that you can spam it on enemies that are in the lane. Now like I said, as we are building the more spirit focused Shiv, there's a couple items you want to keep your eye out for. Improved Burst is an excellent buy that lets him do a ton of damage with just a single dagger. Then Rapid Recharge enables him to spam serrated daggers during fights, keeping enemies slowed and bleeding. So most builds are going to be incorporating Improved Burst and Rapid Recharge, as those are pretty crucial when it comes to Shiv. Some other key items to take note of is Duration Extender, so that your bleed and slow lasts longer with his knives, as well as another item, Mystic Vulnerability, is a great buy as well. Mystic Vulnerability is when the target takes spirit damage, they have their spirit resist reduced, so it's great for using your serrated knives, then hitting them with your slice and dice. Now this section is called General Play. I'll be telling you the preferred leveling up order, and really how to fight in a team fight. When leveling up your first ability, Serrated Daggers is the clear-cut first choice you should always choose. It doesn't matter what lane you're facing, Serrated Daggers should always be the prioritized upgrade first. Next, when you have your second ability unlocked, how I see it, it's up to you. You could pick the third ability, which is Bloodletting, to help you sustain in lane during the early stages of the game. Or you could pick Slice and Dice if you feel like you have enough pressure and damage to try to get a early elimination onto your enemy laner. How I would determine between the two is if it's an enemy laner that's going to be doing a lot of poke damage to me, then I probably want Bloodletting so that I can sustain a lot of damage. Take for instance Great Talon. Great Talon will be poking you a lot, so it's probably better to upgrade into your third ability rather than your second. And if you're laning someone that you feel like you can get the early jump on, then you're probably going to want to pick Slice and Dice. You could say like a character like Mo and Krill or something. Any character that you feel like you can do a lot of early game damage to. Then of course once you have the chance to unlock your ultimate ability, go ahead and pick that up as well, so you can start filling up that rage meter and be able to do a ton of damage. For ability upgrades, you're probably going to want to start by maxing out your serrated daggers, so getting that all the way up to level 5. After that, start leveling into Slice and Dice at least 2 levels, followed by maxing out your ultimate. Complete the upgrades for Slice and Dice, then fully upgrade Bloodletting last. At least that's my preferred build, but your build might be completely different, which is perfectly fine, as at the end of the day it's just a game. For some reason I see a lot of Shiv players struggle in team fights, myself included. You have to think of it in a way as Shiv is an assassin. Shiv should prioritize targeting high damage heroes such as Great Talon, Vindicta, Wraith, and Lash. Your goal is to dive in and get rid of these specific targets so that you have the higher probability of winning the team fight. Your whole goal is to dive into the backline, making everyone who's in the enemy frontline to turn their heads to you so that your team can capitalize on the fact that everyone's not looking at them. Even if you can't get the elimination on, say, a Vindicta or a Great Talon, as long as you're creating chaos in the enemy's backline, I think you're still doing a perfect job. Now a lot of people say Shiv is broken, Shiv is uncounterable, Shiv can do this, he can do that. Well yes, he's pretty strong, but I feel like people struggle to understand what you can actually use to counter him. First and foremost, Shiv struggles against items and heroes that can slow him down or drain his health. Items like Healbane and Siphon Bullets, which steal max HP, but I know Siphon Bullets just got changed I believe, so Toxic Bullets will also do fine. As well as heroes with strong crowd control such as Dynamo, Vindicta, Calvin, sometimes even Lash, can effectively keep Shiv at bay. On the flip side, Shiv thrives against squishy heroes like Great Talon, Haze, and so on. These characters can be quickly burst down and consistently poked. His devastating burst damage paired with his mobility and range management makes him a formidable force in these skilled hands. Mastering his combos and timing your strikes are crucial for dominating the game, and hopefully this guide has helped you learn something new or gave you a better understanding to the character. Of course, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, and well, I'll catch you in the next one.